What of just wages for the future? Now, the purported abrogation of the 97 Constitution is likely to see Fiji expelled from the Commonwealth. Now, I keep using the word purported because you will remember that in 2000, there was also a declaration that the Constitution had been abrogated, and the Chandrika Prasad case in fact established that the Constitution had not been abrogated, regardless of what commanders of the military actually stated, or what people who were appointed as presidents actually stated. So let me keep using the word purported. Donors like the EU are likely to withhold aid funds, and some may even apply trade sanctions. Given that the private sector is always afraid of unconstitutional and unelected governments and political uncertainty, there is not going to be the healthy, broad-based governments and investments that are needed for healthy economic growth. Our economy is currently destined to stumble along, as we have done for the last 22 years. It is therefore quite unlikely for wages to be pulled up by market forces. And even if a few individual businesses do well, they'll always be able to make the same responses that they've made over the last 39 years. Time is not right for wage increases. Now, given the precedents that has already been set early this year, when the 2009 Wages Council's WROs were postponed, they will not be required to show the audited accounts, and it's extremely doubtful if Father Kevin Barr, as chairman of the Wages Councils, will be allowed to look at FERCA accounts, as my study recommended, under their official oath of secrecy. To protect their profits, these businessmen will continue to place pressure on unelected military government ministers to postpone the wage increases, or if granted, to ensure that they are well below the increases in the CPI and the cost of living. The ministers of this military government will not be subject to any censure by voters. On the contrary, they will be trying to encourage the same businessmen to invest, because they have got to prove to themselves and the nation that under their stewardship, the economy continues to grow. Therefore, the ministers are not likely to get on the wrong side of the business community. And the business community, of course, has many other incentives to provide these government ministers. I have no doubt that Father Kevin Barr, for whom I have the greatest of respect, will struggle away in good faith, trying to use the Wages Council mechanism to increase the minimum wages for the poorest workers of this country. But he and other good citizens who have supported the 2006 military coup have also helped to create the broad economic climate that will ensure that his efforts on the Wages Council front will largely and unfortunately be in vain. Reverend Paula Nikula would not have been in agreement with their stance on the 2006 military coup, which has directly led to the purported 2009 abrogation of the 97 Constitution. Were Reverend Nikula to be alive today, he would earnestly plead with all good citizens of this country to oppose any purported abrogation of the 97 Constitution and to struggle for a quick return to parliamentary democracy. For only then will investors have the confidence to invest for the long term, to create the sustained economic growth that is the precondition for incomes throughout the economy to rise and for wages to be pushed up through the Wages Councils towards some semblance of just wages. In conclusion, this lecture, organized by ECRIA, pays tribute to the memory of Reverend Nikula, pays tribute to the deep-seated humanitarian principles he stood for, and his total commitment to the well-being of all of our different ethnic communities, but especially the weak and vulnerable in our society, such as the poorest wage earners. I'm deeply privileged to have been asked by ECRIA to give this Reverend Paula Nikula lecture on the struggle for just wages in Fiji. May ECRIA's work for the poor and vulnerable in our society, including that for the improvement of the incomes of the wage earners through the Wages Councils, the work on housing for the squatters and other good work that they do, continue unabated and be strengthened by a passionate and unqualified adherence to the principles of constitutional law and order. I thank you all for attending this lecture in memory of Reverend Paula Nikula.